time, you lost your first tower quicker, but you would have slowed down the whole game because the mid tower would have been saved. I already said what's going to happen, Todd. They're gonna take the tier 1 tower, but they won't be able to push the tier 2. They can't push the tier 2 without the Juggernaut.
Trance, what you have to understand is that team rotates. They're rotating into a puck.
Yeah.
Like, what are they going to do against that hero? The hero is like one of the most mobile Harpies.
And the puck would win mid more, and the puck should have got kills. He should have been able to get
there was
kills.
one time where he was really close to getting a kill with the Dream Coil. The Juggernaut pretty much played ring around the rosy.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you like the idea?
You're a genius.
Yeah.
You always are a genius to me.
Thanks, Bruno. You're like the father I never had. But you have travelled a lot, so maybe you are.
Yeah.
So let's go to stats, I guess.
Let's go to stats. Why not, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about a guy
stats.
that was pretty good playing recently. That's Solo. Look at that. Look at that. Look.
Solo.
He's like, yeah, I know you're going to go to mid lane, and I know I'm gonna beat you. Surprisingly, Juggernaut is not even it's not even one of his best heroes. Like, imagine how good he is playing Nature's Prophet, Tinker, Queen of Pain, Invoker, Night Stalker, and Enigma. That Juggernaut doesn't even figure.
His Night Stalker is quite good, actually.
It's pretty impressive.
I believe we saw it right before this tournament. I can't remember exactly what tournament it was, but it's a really good Night Stalker.
I mean, and the way they play super aggressive, it really fits their playstyle. All the heroes that you see here, except maybe for the Enigma, are heroes that want to get in your face, just spam you with their spells, spam you with their right clicks, and just make your life impossible. So here we have Solo. Maybe we'll see him again in the Juggernaut. I don't think so.
I think it's going to be banned out in the second ban phase, most likely. I mean, that's when they've been picking it, in the second pick phase, so AO probably should ban it out, especially if they see these kind of heroes again, where it's like, we're just going to build up a tanky front, have a Gyrocopter do a lot of damage, and then we're going to have a Juggernaut with a healing ward.
Yep. Anyways, I think we're ready to go into the game. Great. So, Andy, James, I leave it all to you guys. I want to enjoy the game.
Thank you, Bruno. So, getting into the second game, James, we talked a little bit about how the draft from Rock's Kiss, it just seems like they had AL's number, you know? They saw the first three, and they're like, we totally know what you guys are going to do, and we know just how to stop it. And from there, they kind of systematically picked them apart. I think the final score was like 23 or 24-3 or something like that. Yeah. It wasn't necessarily the closest game I've ever seen. So, AL, if they have a trump card left, now is the time to play it.
Well, Slark's been banned out by Rock's Kiss.
Yes.
And it's just important for Absolute Legends not to show too much in the early stage of the draft.
Yeah.
They did last time. Rock's Kiss were very comfortable. I wouldn't be surprised if Absolute Legends remove a Juggernaut just for the sake of being able to remove it. But if they pick, I don't think they should be picking at Rock's Kiss in the first phase anyway of picks. So probably want to leave it out. I guess banning a Batrider would still be decent. But overall, yeah, Rock's Kiss got to be feeling very comfortable about this, and the Slark's gone. So what do Absolute Legends have? Well, we're going to check their second ban. It's taking a little while. They're probably talking about how the game went and what they want to ban out. I still think a Batrider is just a safe pick. It's such a good hero to initiate with, and they're actually going to remove the CK.
Well, if they weren't planning on banning out a Wisp, then it leaves basically it up to Rock's Kiss if they want to take it out now. And if it does happen, honestly, I don't even know if that's good for Absolute Legends because, say, for instance, they ban out the Wisp right here, AL maybe gets a Nyx, then you give Rock's Kiss a bat +1. So I'm feeling like maybe AL is overthinking it just a little bit, but we're not really sure what their game plan is going to be. Maybe this kind of fits in with their strategy. Maybe they have a pocket strat for this situation where they ban out something weird like a CK, open themselves up something for the third second picks. But overall, you can see they ban out Gyrocopter. They realize at BZZ, we need to stop giving him that hero. He always does great. Even though he got first blooded last game, they came back in a really big way. Their tri-lane ultimately triumphed over AL's pretty badly, I might add. So Rock's Kiss now taking some time of their own. Are they going to take out the Wisp?
Yeah, we'll have to see. And Absolute Legends, even though it looks like they themselves were a little bit... I don't necessarily think they had a game plan going in.
I was giving him the benefit of the doubt, man.
But I actually believe it's more like, okay, we got first pick, and yeah, it wasn't the Wisp to be banned, so you were correct in that, like the decision of do we take it out or do we leave it. They took out the Batrider and they give away a Wisp to Absolute Legends. So in a way, yeah, it looks like Absolute Legends still composed, still thinking. in terms of how they're going to win this game, and they get a Wisp as their first pick. So now it's over to Rox KIS for 2.
Well, the style that Roxkiss ran last game, I actually feel is really strong against Wisp because you have so many disruptive heroes. I mean, they're not going to get their hands on the Gyrocopter, of course, which is really important because Gyro is great against Wisp lineups, but they can still pick up the Clockwork if they want to. They can do what they did against Empire. They can go for the Beastmaster. They can get this team that just has a lot of awareness around the map and is really quick to react to these Wisp teleports, which is what they need. They're going to go with a very standard Lifestealer, Darkseer, pretty common picks, 2 heroes that are very difficult to kill, even with a Wisp. So in a way, they're dealing with it, but they're still getting strong lanes.
I think Rox KIS are going to be looking to do similar to last game. It's 5-man Dota.
Yeah.
It's 5-man tower Dota. So their supports are probably going to be ones that have a big impact over towers. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Warlock. I think that would be a really nice pickup. Obviously, the ulti is a really long cooldown, so how often you can get it involved isn't so often. But you want strong heroes. You want to reduce the kind of how much opportunity, the Wisp has to actually come in and pick up kills. So it's 5-man Dota. It's eliminating Wisp from being able to turn any lane into +2 at any point of the game past level 6. And to me, that's 5-man Dota. So Absolute Legends are going to get themselves a Magnus that hasn't been banned out. So nice team fight potential.
They're kind of pulling out all the stops here. This is one of those lineups where the Mag is a hero who is seen as somebody who can turn even the worst case scenario, kind of a fight. You get a decent RP. He has enough damage follow-up just by himself to maybe score kills on even things like supports, depending on which ones Roxkiss want to actually pick here. But I do like the pick so far from AL because not like last game, where they had a Puck who kind of needed more behind him. When you pick something like a Mag and you have 2 global heroes already, the follow-up is always going to be there.
Yeah, and Nature's Prophet coming in, just showing his huge global presence on the map that Absolute Legends are going to offer. And a Clockwork, a really good pickup again. Rox KS, love this hero. He's great for initiation. He's great at disrupting fights, and that's a very good pickup going into the first 3 picks for both teams. So I'm still favoring Roxkiss from this situation. Even though Absolute Legends have got what I feel heroes that they're very comfortable with the Nature's Prophet, and also the Wisp is going to add a lot to the team. But it's really Roxkiss that are going to be like, right, we're going to get the most out of our lanes, and then we're going to tell you where to defend by turning up to your towers.
I feel like that's a good game plan, though. I mean, if you're looking at AL right now, the best way to beat them is to hit them first, which I think is what you were kind of getting at. So Roxkiss, they've got a pretty good initiator and Clockwork. They've got some fantastic teamfight utilities. We can see right now they're going through the motions of banning out the Tiny, the Sven. Yeah. They don't want to have to deal with those heroes being partnered with that Wisp, who can be very, very deadly with them. So for Roxkiss, they need some supports. They also need a mid, and they have the Clockwork, the Darkseer already, so I'm kind of leaning towards maybe we're going to see a Queen of Pain this game. It's a very common matchup for mid against heroes like Magnus, partners nicely with a Darkseer Vacuum and being able to burst people down. The one thing, too, to keep in mind here for AL, they're walking a very fine line right now. They have 2 really strong heroes in the Wisp and the Prophet, but you need to have enough damage in the last 2 picks to warrant those, because if you don't, you can have the situation where your lanes suffer so badly from your greed that you're not going to be able to win them.
Yeah, I really like the bans coming out from Roxkiss, the Tiny, Sven, and Alchemist. Just big kind of heroes that are able to lock down one and do a huge amount of damage. I'm still looking for Roxkiss to maybe go for a Keeper of the Light if it's available, and also a Queen of Pain. I think that could be a decent amount of fighting potential. That would lean maybe more towards obviously Lifestealer going safe lane and getting the farm he needs.
Oh,
and Absolute Legends, wow, they've decided that their Wisp is going to be very happy with an Ursa, and that's
it was the only choice left.
Yeah, I guess, but it's a nice pickup. It counters the Lifestealer in many ways. Work well with the Wisp.
It can be really annoying against Clockwork as well, just because you cog, the Ursa gets a BKB, and unless you have a Force Staff or a Ghost Scepter of your own, he will just tear you to shreds. Like, you're not going to be able to live through that. So Shadow Demon going to be the choice from Rock's Kiss, a hero that we haven't really seen make it this far into the pool in quite a long time, if I'm not mistaken. So now Rock's Kiss, they have another hero who, if they wanted to, they could potentially put together an aggressive trial lane of their own. Because of the fact that we see nothing but mids and carries banned out in the second phase, heroes like Lina still available, the Shrek also inside of the pool now. If Rock's Kiss want to go for that style, I don't think they're going to want to dodge a lane where they see an Ursa and a Wisp +1, because right now, Absolute Legends, they got one more support that they can pick up, and they're not going to be able to get their hands on a Rubik, but I'm not really sure what support they could get that would be able to stop Rock's Kiss aggression.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It's a tough call, but I still think the Absolute Legends have come out pretty strong in the draft now in the later stages with that Ursa, and there's a Vengeful Spirit to wrap it up. I would really like to see actually Shadow Demon play mid. Because Queen of Pain, I'm not sure how flexible she's going to be in the fights, even though she's going to match up well versus the Magnus. Just in the team fights, it's like, well, yeah, she could jump in and get on Wisp, but you've got a Vengeful Spirit stun now, and also Magnus if she's got out of position. Could be put into an RP. Obviously, that's a very optimistic RP to hit on the Queen of Pain, but still, it's pretty dangerous for her to run and jump around. But I doubt we'll see a Shadow Demon mid, but it could be nice.
They could just pick Juggernaut again. I mean, why not, right? They could still put the Clockwork in the off lane, maybe put the Darkseer in the jungle, farm 2 on the bottom, because Absolute Legends, under no circumstances do they want to put that lane aggressive. Ursa, Venge, Wisp, not really the best choice. They could utilize the map pretty easily if they wanted to put together another Juggernaut kind of push-centric strategy. The only downside to it this time is that they have one initiator. They don't have a second person to really go in. They have just the Clockwork. So I'm still leaning towards something more aggressive in terms of this middle lane. They have a couple of choices, and they're really, really thinking about this, because it's like, if we get the Healing Ward is pretty good, but we're going to get split pushed really, really hard.
Nick's Assassin's still in the pool.
Yeah, he's still in the pool.
I mean, you could also do Clockwork mid, which is on the board right now, but actually, whoa.
OD,
It's
yep.
going to be OD, who's going to be played by Solo going mid. So, Magnus, good luck. Miguel?
This is actually a fantastic choice. Now they have two ways of stopping Unicorn from dealing damage. He goes on one person, he gets disrupted, or they get disrupted. He goes on another person, then there's an Astral Imprisonment, there's Cogs, there's Surge. This Ursa is going to have an absolute nightmare staying on targets unless the supports are there on point every single time.
Yeah, they're going to have to get the most out of the farm time with the Ursa. 2 safe lanes, I would predict, safe tri lanes coming out from both teams, Absolute Legends and Rox KIS. But it looks like we'll be getting ready in just a moment. Only a couple more players to be picking their heroes. And then we could go into what could be for one team the final match of Group A. If Rox Kiss take this, they're going to be moving on to the playoffs and be one of the 4 final teams. If Absolute Legends bring back this game, they will of course tie it up 1 apiece, and we're going to a final matchup. So Andy, take us through the teams.
So on the side of AL, we're going to have that Nature's Prophet being played by Mania. Magnus is going to be played by Miguel. Rise is going to be playing on that Wisp. Vengeful Spirit played by Miracle. And then finally, Unicorn going to be playing on that Ursa. And they are smoked up, by the way. So a level 1 Roshan is on the board.
Yeah, and I think we already have Dings coming out. No, I don't think Roxkiss. They're in position to do something with it. Yeah, they're actually drawing some lines coming out from Van's core, so they are aware this could happen. And Dread's going to lead the charge, and he's got Cogs as well.
He's got Cogs and Boots. Is he going to trap him inside of the pit? He walks right into him. Dread caught out all by himself. The Skewer's going to be there. He actually knocks up the Vengeful Spirit to the high ground. Dread going to get first blooded. Rise picking up the kill. Open wounds onto Mania. Roxkiss want to try to turn this around. The Ion Shell is on BZZ. They're trying to chase out. This poor Vengeful Spirit is still stuck on the high ground. Vanscore gets a disrupt onto Miguel. Still about 10 seconds left on that Skewer. It's a 1-for-1 exchange, but AL, they get the first blood.
Yeah, first blood actually went to Wisp, so not a huge deal, but at the end of the day, it was Roxkiss that kind of knew what could be happening, and they went in to counter it. But luckily for AL, they did get the first blood. I think that's a situation that could have been horrible for them. They lost one, got the first blood, and they're going to back away, so could be pretty happy with this at least.
Man, if Dread just cogged like at the edge of the pit, every
Yeah.
single person would have been stuck in the pit getting hit by Roshan. That could have been such a worse fight. So Dread, he's going to be the one giving up the first blood this game. A bit unfortunate. He will be soloing that offlane, by the way. But you can take us through Roxkiss lineup, because I don't think we had a chance
Yeah,
before.
it's going to be Dread, as you mentioned, on the offlane. Just holding some creeps and cogs right now. He's got boots just to ensure that he's able to run away when needed on his offlane. In middle, actually, we've got Solo, who's just getting harassed by Miracle, who picked up a haste rune. Not going to throw any damage or stuns out, and Solo will sit there just for the moment. Solo playing the OD. Yol is going to be on the Darkseer. He's currently in jungle. Vanscore going to be playing the SD, and he's going to be supporting BZZ playing the Lifestealer. So there are lineups. You can already see how the lanes have gone. They've actually gone for Dread offlane as opposed to the Darkseer. What do you make of this decision?
Well, the Darkseer can farm the jungle
Probably, yeah.
pretty easily, whereas Clockwork unfortunately can't. So there's really only one choice for Roxkiss, unless they wanted to put that solo safe lane. And then, of course, they could have put a Darkseer tri-lane top. We've seen it before, not really common, and I'm not sure how well it would have done anyway. So it's going to be the Ursa free farming up here. He can get his Vlads and his phase boots pretty darn quick in the situation. The one thing that's really dangerous for Roxkiss is that once Unicorn gets that Vlads, a Roshan can be snuck in anytime. And he's the only hero on the map who has to be missing. So you always have to be conscious of that if you're Roxkiss. They do have a Clockwork, which is pretty nice. They can just flare the pit. Around like 8 or 9 minutes is roughly the earliest that you're ever going to see a Roshan go down if you're against a jungle Ursa, but it can actually be even before that if you're up against a laning Ursa.
And Miracle's going to pop his clarity, start walking top. He should in a moment have enough for a magic missile on Dread. Not sure if he's going to be able to get the kill. Rise is going to come in. They're going to go on Dread instantly now. Dread is going to get stunned up before Cogs goes down, and he is going to be looking to go down here. He might just, well, he's like, screw
He
Cogs.
wants to die to
I
the
want
tower,
to die
yeah.
to tower. And Rise is going to get himself the second kill of the game. Really good start from AL. I'm not sure why he was so surprised at where Miracle was coming from.
Well, this is the risky run when you go to an offlane with no wards. I mean, a lot of the times when you're going to put an offlaner up there who can't do anything else but offlane, you give him some semblance of vision, so that kind of thing just doesn't happen. But unfortunately for Dread, he's going to be giving up 2 kills already in just about 2 minutes inside of this game. And this is the start that AL are looking for. Sure, the Wisp getting the kills, maybe not the most efficient use of the money, but he's still going to be happy with the bonus experience. Getting 6 faster is always going to be better.
Yeah, and Rise is on his way with that, almost level 3 now. Just looking at mid, the OD played by Solo, currently 7-4. Up against Miguel, who's currently 5-1, just wanting to spam out as much as possible and be able to buy his bottle, which he should have. Yo, just hanging out in jungle, level 2 now in Iron Shell, doing fine as well. But anything that you don't like in terms of the laning phase?
Well, obviously Dread dying twice is not a good thing. He only had 1 lane death, to be fair. But even still, his play so far, it's been a little bit lackluster. Like, not even... They knew they were doing level 1 Roshan, yet he waited so long to use the cogs. So Dread definitely going to have to step up his game here in game number 2. Actually almost gets a kill on Rise. Eats a rocket, but still going to live through the damage. As long as he continues to soak experience here, he'll be fine. He needs to get level 6, though, and since AL are playing it pretty aggressive, they've just started pulling just now, he'll still maintain a pretty decent level of experience. And AL obviously have a slight advantage here. The Nature's Prophet's not going to get pressured at all. The OD is not going to be roaming. That's the one downside to Roxkiss lineup right now is Solo is not going to be moving around the map looking for kills. He's not an initiator.
Yeah.
He's basically a carry who goes mid.
Yeah, absolutely. So even though he's going to have a strong mid presence, as you mentioned, yeah, he's not going to be able to do what Solo did on his Juggernaut. Also to mention, BCZ over by the bottom lane is going to get an absolute great game. He's got the lane free to himself. This can be really dangerous for a Lifestealer. He's currently leading the CS 24-7, but not that far behind his Unicorn, who's had a great start in terms of playing his Ursa, just because he's been able to get some extra experience from some kills. Nature's Prophet maybe is like, I'm going to die from neutrals, guys, because I want to respawn. And he'll go down in the jungle. But Unicorn's actually doing really well. And it looks like they're going to go again. And it's going to be Yol that they're going to find. Dread comes in with Cogs. And it's a dual off lane now. Have you seen this before?
I have not actually seen this one before, but it is going to help, especially Dread, because he's having such a hard time. Even with boots, Ursa's one of the fastest heroes in the game. And he's going to get tethered, which is a 20% bonus to his movement speed. So not only is he really fast by himself, but he's always going to be able to catch even an offlaner who starts with boots no matter what. And Rock's Kiss, they've rotated up Yul just to give him some relief, and they're also pressuring this bottom tier 1, which AL probably not going to react to. The only person who can do anything about it is actually Nature's Prophet, who's making his way down here so far. So Mania is going to try to do what he can, but he needs to be really careful. Even though he can teleport out from this, if he gets caught out by an open wounds and Vanscore holds on to that disruption, they could potentially kill him.
Yeah, and Mania, of course, because he's gone jungle, doesn't have Sprout, but even if he did, there is a Cunning Blade on BZZ. So just trying to keep that tower alive for the moment. And I think he's done the right option from going down here. I actually think, by the way, this offlane decision with Yol and Dread playing the Darkseer and Clockwork on the offlane together is really good.
Yeah.
They're so hard to kill. They can put a lot of damage down onto the creeps, and which will later return onto the tower with Iron Shell. And Dread's pretty high level. He's level 4, which is higher than Rise on his Wisp, who's level 3. And also, if you look at Miracle, he's only just hit level 3, and he's already forced home. And you compare that to the Shadow Demon, he's level 4, he's pulling, he's not getting harassed, he's just like the Lifestealer, having the time of his life. He's got a free lane. So Rock's Kiss, despite giving away the first blood and another kill on their lane, this is such a smart rotation. It's working out.
It's because of the fact that the OD is going to win his matchup pretty much against most heroes. Maybe a Lone Druid could contest his farm, maybe a couple of other heroes, and we can see that Magnus is not having the best time. He just got enough mana to use a Shockwave, but bottom, they're not contesting. Mid, Solo is winning. So it's 2 lane wins. There's no reason to just let Dread die over and over, or basically put him in a position where he can't get anything accomplished when you know that you have 2 guaranteed wins.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. It's definitely the right decision to make.
Yeah, and this is the only lane that they can mess up. This is Rock's Kiss could give away the advantage, or give too much advantage to this lane with Unicorn and his 2 supports, because they could just feed on Dread if he was there, or even Yol if he rotated on the Darkseer, but then Dread would have no place to go.
Mania. He could be getting killed here. Nice Infest coming out from BZZ just to get the bonus damage in. The Soul Catcher was there, and Rock's Kiss managed to put another kill on the board. It also looks like they're being pretty annoying to the top lane as well, as Clockwork is being initiated on here by Unicorn, but they're completely cut off from Yul at the moment. Spirit's doing a little bit of damage coming out from Rise. He's popping some bottle charges. Yul trying to chase him back. Unicorn doesn't have any mana to speak of so far. Mania teleports in. He's got the Sprout. Can he actually hit it? It looks like it's going to be on Yul. Dread tries to come around and throws out a set of cogs. Unicorn will get knocked back, and it looks like he just can't get any damage out. These heroes are so low. Actually, Yul able to use a salve to get back up to almost full HP, and Unicorn just simply doesn't have any follow-up. Those cogs just proving to be incredibly annoying in this lane.
It's like the strongman lane.
Yeah, it is.
You ever played a strongman lane? That's when you kind of do like a tiny and pudge on a lane. It's pretty stupid in pubs, but this is a strongman lane competitive edition. Also to mention, Vanscore actually TP'd in on his Shadow Demon, put a disruption onto Miguel playing the Magnus, but Magnus didn't have the mana. If you look, he's got 100 mana because of the intelligence still that OD's putting on him. He's got full mana, but he's only got 100. And he was unable to do what he wanted, which would have been a skewer into a double reverse, well, not a double reverse polarity, but 2 targets under reverse polarity. So Rock's Kiss have just turned this game so in their favor, even this early on. And BZZ, bottom lane, has picked up a Midas, and he's already putting down some just damage onto the tier 2 tower. So Mania has a timer above his head. Like, he needs to get levels, he needs to get items, and he needs to be involved in the game. And he's actually looking
He's going to be teleporting on mid,
but not going to do so. And Solo's going to be chasing Miracle off. There comes the ulti and the kill.
The Sanity's Eclipse hit for 400 damage. That just goes to show how incredibly good OD is in terms of burst damage. Yeah, it's a really long cooldown ulti, 160 seconds, but if you have intelligence stacks like that when you're spamming Astral Imprisonment, the damage output is obscene, especially on supports, and anybody who's not an intelligence hero in general suffers even more from it. But Dread, now level 6, so it's 8.5 minutes in. He's managed to recover pretty nicely. Sure, the Ursa's 7, but Yul's been up here the entire time. They've managed to get Clockwork Hookshot, which is really important because, as we mentioned, this is the only initiator that Rock's Kiss have. He's the one who basically has to be in the front lines of the fight. The Darkseer can surge in, but it's not really the same effectiveness. You really want somebody like a Lifestealer to infest into the Clockwork, start the fights that way, potentially just kill the Wisp or the Vengeful Spirit straight away. and just go from there. But Maniac going to be initiated on once again. He wants to teleport back to base. The disruption is there. Fanscore throws out a Soul Catcher, but unfortunately it doesn't hit him. But Mania, he's not going to be able to teleport out in time. He wants to try to trap BZZ, but he uses the Infest to eat a creep and get his health back. Armlet almost done on BZZ at 9 minutes in with his Midas, and Boots already finished.
Yeah, and Mania currently sits with Gloves of Haste and 500 gold. So this Midas is probably going to be one of the slowest Midases for a Nature's Prophet that went jungle. I'm sure Bruno will check on that when he actually finishes out. Top lane, Tower's going to take a lot of pressure. Dread's going to get surged, just going to actually run past now as they see a TP rotation as Ryze comes in. And Meagle is also here.
Hey, Yul trying to juke. Tether's going to be there. Yul wants to try to get away from this, but there's simply no chance. Miguel just holding on to his RP as long as he can. Dread actually going to pop the cogs. Miguel gets cogged. There's going to be the disruption as well on Unicorn. Going to go ahead and just fall back. So Dread retreating to the right-hand side, should be able to make it home. And that really was kind of frustrating for Miguel because he tried to skewer through, but he skewered into the side of the cog, so he got cogged 2 times.
Let's bottle that. Dread's going to, once again, cog him out. He's not having a fun time with his mana pool, Miguel from Absolute Legends. He's been up against an OD mid, and Dread on his Clockwork's been messing with him as well. So currently all tier 1 towers up right now for Rocks KIS. Face Rune just being picked up by Solo. We'll see if he's going to make anything happen here. But it does look like Absolute Legends are grouping up top to maybe make something happen, as they do have their Magnus level 7 there, played by Miguel. Unicorn looking to go. And Solo is just no TP in mid lane with that haste. So let's see how the fight goes down.
He's in really big trouble. Cogs actually separates Miguel from the rest of his team. Miguel wants to go in anyway. He does actually get cogged once more. Gets a solo RP onto Yul. They want to take him down, but he has no follow-up. The rest of his team actually going down. BZZ is now here. Gets the kill on Ryze after the open wounds. Unicorn now going to be in some trouble. BZZ looking for an infest, and never mind. Walks right into his Sanity's Eclipse. Astral Imprisonment onto this mag. There is pretty much no escape for him. They're trying to box him in. Miguel taking a tremendous amount of damage, and Darkseer will get the kill, and in the meantime, they get the last hit on the tier 1 top lane. So this game, you kind of saw what AL wanted to try to do, and they were doing a really nice job of punishing Dread for being in that off lane. As soon as Yul comes up here, I mean, good lord, 7,500 gold lead in 11.5 minutes.
Yeah, it's insane. It's just SD didn't need to rotate. He got all the pulling time in the world on the safe lane. BZZ playing the Lifestealer had a great time. Solo isn't going to need to leave or miss mid, you know, in terms of like, lose mid or leave mid. He only left there, and I think he still had something on his haste rune to be able to get up to the tier 1 top so quickly. But it's just gone to shit for Absolute Legends. Despite something that could have worked for him in terms of getting 2 kills on their Wisp, they haven't been able to achieve anything with it, and Miguel is so far away. But we are going to have a fight top. Unicorn going to try and go on BZZ, going to get shut down pretty easily. Mania not going to offer anything to this, as Solo is just going to destroy him with the amount of damage he puts down with just 1 level in Arcane Orb.
He's got that Atos too. Mania walked in, and they're even going to steal the creep stack. So Rock's Kiss getting more and more ahead in this game, and it's only 12 minutes in, but you just have the sense that AL, what do they have here? Like, how are they actually going to be able to defend any of these fights? Every single person on Rock's Kiss has a tremendous amount of farm. They've even managed to take down 2 towers where all their towers, again, are still standing. And how often do we say that? Like, every time we cast Rock's Kiss into qualifiers, it's like, oh, they haven't lost a single tower, but they're currently taking the 3rd tower away from their opponents.
It's once they get their mech, I do believe, not Dread's going for it, it's the Clockwork. Once they get their mech, these tier 2 towers are going to have a hard time. So, Yol on the Darkseer is going for the mech, and he's pretty damn close to it. And if you look at the towers, the amount of damage that they've taken, tier 1 top, it's fine. Tier 1 mid, it's fine. And, oh no, tier 1 bottom is taking 40% damage. And that was the lane that actually Absolute Legends haven't been on. But they are going to try and do something a little bit sneaky, trying to get ahead in this situation. They've bought Ryze and also Unicorn to take down Roshan. They will be able to do so, and this could be really nice for them, because if they get a decent RP in a fight, get a decent skirmish, just having Unicorn, the ability to have the Aegis and come back to life with full mana and health, is going to be big for the continuation of the fight.
And just the Wisp getting 6 would have been nice on itself, but they have to make something big happen with this. Like, this is their last-ditch effort. If they can't do anything with this, then the game is going to be very, very difficult for them to come back into. Solo going to get shockwave here by Miguel, and the rest of AL is kind of nearby. Mania, of course, can teleport in if he needs to, but they need to make a decision now, because top BZZ is attacking this tier 2. He's going to get it pretty much by himself. The Wisp relocate is going to be there. Miguel, they want to kill BZZ so badly. The Ursa is there with the overpowered BZZ. Will he be able to infest into a creep? No, he doesn't. He just walks in and lets himself die. Yeah, he did. He could have armlet toggled, I suppose, but the infest was on cooldown, of course. And Rise now realizing, oh yeah, I forgot I have to go back there in about 12 seconds, and he ends up dropping.
Yeah, Roxkiss actually had a ward just on where they TP'd away from, so very smart of them to be able to rotate back in and get the kill. But BZZ did go down, so that makes it 11-4, still in favor of Roxkiss. 3 towers ahead. And as you mentioned, they had to make something happen. They did something there. It was nice to get a kill, but they need to win the next team fight. They need to have something big, and they are going to have to wait for the RP, I believe, in any kind of team fight that they want to engage under any tier 2 tower or any skirmish outside. And they've got 60 seconds to do so. So we'll see where AL are going to go from this. Unicorn has to be careful, though. Dread's going to find him. He doesn't have hookshot available for another 7 seconds, so he will be able to just back away. And it does look like, with that RP down, Roxkiss know that this tier 2 tower, even with backdoor protection,
can they do it? Is there enough damage?
This is the hardest fight they've had.
This is the hardest fight they've had. Can they actually not outdamage the backdoor protection? The creeps are going to be here, so it's not really a big deal. So yeah, they will secure the tier 2. They're going to teleport bottom as well, trying to stop Mania. He barely has enough mana to teleport. Can he get the hook shot? He's looking for it. No, he won't be able to get quite in range, so he can't stop them. The tower is actually going to go into deny range, so yeah, the catapult hit it once again. This is going to be a free deny for Roxkiss, and the first tower kill of the game for AL. Not even going to get full benefit. He's sending in the treants. He really wants this tower. They're going to relocate in. Dread actually pops the cogs, throws Unicorn away. Unicorn will get the tower last hit. Now they're trying to go for Rise. Unicorn stuck all by himself. The Sanity's Eclipse doing an incredible amount of damage. Rise trying to take him back to base. Looks like he will be able to escape himself if he manages to bottle. Nope. He's just going to die to the urn instead. And it looks like AL to be in some more trouble. They're trying to find Unicorn. Oh, not quite fast enough on the Astral Imprisonment as Unicorn TPs to safety.
Yeah, Van's core threw his Shadow Poison, which would have revealed. Unfortunately, he had to throw it a little bit late. It's got like a 3-second cooldown, so he threw one earlier. And the second one wasn't in time for Solo to get the vision to put him in imprisonment. So very, very lucky to get away Unicorn there. And I still thought that was a waste of the Aegis. Letting the tower be denied was still optimal in that situation and keep the Aegis up, because they're going to have a tough time defending tier 2 bottom. Roxkiss going to force this one down. And looks like they even want to go put some pressure up here on the tier 3. And they do have that mech now on Yol that we talked about earlier. So they will do a lot of damage, but I'm sure the AL will come to defend. What can they do? They've got a Blink Dagger up on Magnus, so this is pretty big.
If they can get a nice RP, they can definitely defend. That's the one thing about Magnus that they can always rely on, is if the RP is there, they can stop the pressure. Vanscore gets the disruption off before Mania can teleport back to base, and he might not be able to make it. He's going to get imprisoned. This is what I was talking about. You just simply cannot cast a spell. You cannot stick a target, and they are going to get the kill. So Solo secures himself even more golden experience. They relocate mid. There's no backdoor protection, not even really backdooring, but still being able to get something out of this bleak situation. AL is trying to do everything they can right now to stay in this game.
They've done pretty well, but unfortunately they've left that tower on deny range as well. That one's going to be denied. The bottom one they did actually take, so it's the first deny that Roxkiss have been able to take away tower-wise. But so far ahead, if we look at the net worth, the top 3 currently are all on Roxkiss's team, and the carry, Unicorn, sitting on 5k net worth. Half of that of BZZ playing the Lifestealer, as the tier 2 tower mid is the target of choice for Roxkiss.
Roxkiss looking unstoppable here in game number 2. It's 14-4, so AL, they still got a lot of work cut out for them if they want to come back. The one nice thing that we mentioned before, Miguel, he has that RP. It's not level 2, so it's not quite as potent as it could be, but they're just sacking towers at this point. Like, they just let their tier 2 go to Roxkiss for nothing. If they are waiting for Mania to start becoming more of a split push threat, he's going to have to farm a lot faster. I mean, he's 0-6-2 right now. He's involved in half of his team's kills, but he's given away quite a bit. He can't really abuse his mobility when you just get chain interrupted whenever you try to TP out.
Yeah. And another thing we should mention is the Wisp. We talked about it earlier. Want to play against the Wisp? 5-man Dota.
Yeah.
What have Roxkiss been doing? Well, they didn't fuck up their lanes. That was the first thing, with a great rotation to help out Dread on the off lane. As soon as that was the case, and they didn't lose that lane in a bad way, the Ursa and the Wisp weren't a big threat. And then as soon as it was kind of like level 6, level 7, Roxkiss focused their attention to towers, and they've been doing great so far.
Oh,
They're
there's a
down bottom.
surprise inside of Dread. Unicorn wants to go in, but he hasn't come out of the infestation just yet. Now he does. Unicorn now turning on a BZZ, but he just simply doesn't do any damage. And it looks like Dread wants to be able to go on Rise, but there's going to be a relocate out. Now Mania says, oh man, my team has abandoned me. Of course, the Wisp will be coming back in a couple of seconds to be basically instantly killed. He might be able to tether here, but I'm not sure if it's going to matter. Actually, this gets vacuumed into the cogs and dies to the Radiant side. So 2 kills given away. And that was actually a really nice bait coming out from Roxkiss.
Yeah, and all the time as well, Solo was actually pushing out the top lane. So even though they're focusing their efforts down bottom, the lane top, you can see Miguel turning up to try and send it in the direction that they wanted, towards that tier 1 tower where they could get some gold. AL have got absolutely nothing from the situation. Miguel's not going to be able to put pressure onto this tower, because they're going to want to go to the tier 3 again. Roxkiss should be ready to move to that tier 3, and actually it looks like they're just moving around, putting down some wards. We even have a rocket flare going to bot lane to try and slow the farm, or the tower. The tower will go down just in time, actually. I thought they would have a harder time doing that, but just in time to defend this tier 3. But Roxkiss, it could be risky to stay here and take this fight. It could really backfire on them, but I feel that they also agree that they're so far ahead, having completed a Desolator and an Armlet on BZZ, and just having, a pretty solid team in terms of items.
The problem right now for AL is, even with the RP, you have 2 heroes on the side of Roxkiss that can deny your follow-up. You have Astral Imprisonment, you have Disruption. So say they RP on BZZ and his rage isn't up, then all he has to do is get Astral Imprisoned. But Solo wants to go in. Miguel coming in. He will find a 3-man RP. He's going to skewer him. No, he won't actually. The hookshot is there too, but it doesn't hit anybody because of Disruption. Sanity's Eclipse comes down, and it's almost 3 instant kills in favor of Roxkiss. Miguel buys back. He found the RP that he was looking for, but it was the Disruption just stopped his follow-up. It's an ultra kill for Solo. 20-4. Miguel skewers Solo into the tier 4 towers. He doesn't have the Ghost Scepter up. Will he be able to get away from this? I think the towers might actually kill him. Oh my goodness, just barely being able to live through that damage. They get the melee racks in the bottom lane, and it looks like Roxkiss is going to be able to take this series 2-0.
Yeah, and all the meanwhile, they didn't actually have Mania in that fight. He was content with just pushing out the tier 2 tower.
Oh,
It looks
Unicorn.
like AL knew that they were going to lose.
Really nice swap, 3-man vacuum. Miracle just gets evaporated by the damage output of Solo. He pops the Ghost Scepter, continues using the Arcane Orb, and just 2 hits every single person on the side of AL that he comes into contact with. This Outworld Devourer, the pick, I had a little bit of question about it because he couldn't really move, but in the end, his team definitely made it so he didn't have to.
And he's just picked up 2 Mystic Staffs, by the way. We had 1. He just thought, well, they look better in pairs.
He wants to be smart.
So he has a lot of intelligence to kind of gloat into the face of Absolute Legends. As it's 23-4. It's such a different Roxkiss we saw from yesterday against AL. The score lines in terms of kills have just been so one-sided, but it's the Roxkiss that people knew could come out of the group in 1st or 2nd place, and it looks like they will be getting 2nd. So great pickup of items as well. There's 2 Ghost Scepters. I think there's also one on Dread playing the Clockwork. Yep.
Well, this is going to be it, man. This is the 5-man of all 5-mans. If AL can't defend this, they're going to submit their 2nd set of racks, and
Oh, Lifestealer has a Blink Dagger, by the way.
yeah, I saw the blink pickup, and it's actually really nice on Lifestealer to be able to get in range and just kill somebody like the Vengeful Spirit, or at the very least make her swap. Miguel, he's in a pretty good position right now to try to find that RP. If he can possibly hit the OD and the Shadow Demon together, that is his ideal RP. That way they don't have anything else that they can use to stop his follow-up, because last time, of course, he got 3 people, but he's going to get spotted out. Miguel, all by himself, gets the 1-man RP, skewers into the base, and actually brings Dread with him, but the Soul Catcher and 1 Arcane Orb almost instantly kill him. Dread's going to be able to finish the job all by himself. Unicorn stuck in the entirety of Roxkiss is going to be the next one to go down. The solo wall on Miracle coming out from Yol, and it just simply doesn't matter. AL do not have a chance. They tap out, and AL's run and the TI3 qualifiers ends here.
And there it is. Congratulations to Roxkiss. They'll be the 2nd team to advance from Group A in the international qualifiers. for the West, of course. They're going to be qualifying with DD, and they're going to be ecstatic. This is a team that definitely feel that they can win the whole qualifiers. They are such a threat to a lot of teams, just how aggressive they play, how smart their laning phase is. Superb play today.
Yeah.
You can take nothing away from them. I think, Empire still didn't show how good they could have been. Absolute Legends were caught off guard in some of the situations. But Roxkiss had an answer to every opponent that they played today. That's what's really important. They had an answer to every opponent they played. And Solo just showing us how much damage he can do there.
I'm really excited to see Roxkiss perform like this because yesterday we saw DD, and we're thinking to ourselves, DD looks, at least in this group, unbeatable. Like, they were just winning games. They dropped, I think, one map overall in the 2 best-of-3s that they played the other day. But now we see Roxkiss. They're definitely showing their potential now, playing very similar to how DD played. And we had a chance to actually talk to Godblack and Bucking Mad yesterday for the winners interview, of course, and they said one of the biggest strong points they have is their flexibility. And I think Roxkiss was kind of flaunting that here in this best-of-3.
Yeah, they were very flexible in terms of heroes they could pick, lanes they could pick. They were all on the same page. Like, everyone knew what items they were going for, when these items were up, what it meant for the team, what towers they could use, or what strategies they could. Well, the overall strategy and tactics is different. You have an overall strategy, but what the tactics to execute that strategy in terms of, now we have our mech, now we put the pressure down. It was just it's just so clinical in the way that they broke down all their opponents today. It was superb, and even though a lot of people said EG and Mousesports are the 2 teams that are really kind of solid in terms of looking good to go through, from this you've got DD and Roxkiss, who are just scary.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Mousesports and EG really well and how they're going to play, but with Roxkiss and DD, the drafting, the laning, the aggression, if they're on point, it can break down a Mousesports and it can break down an EG. So a lot of people said Group B was harder. I think Group A, the 2 teams that came out were the top 2 by far, and yeah, they're really scary contenders to qualify from the whole thing.
Yeah, I can't agree more, and it just goes to show how much is actually on the line here, because the improvement that these teams make in such a short amount of time is just amazing. Like, watching even Roxkiss play a couple of weeks ago, or watching DD play a couple of weeks ago, maybe they weren't even near this level. But of course, I think you and I have had enough airtime. It's time to introduce our analyst desk. Of course, once again joined by Webos and Bruno. Pretty one-sided best-of-3.
Pretty one-sided best-of-3 indeed, and pretty one-sided last game. I think AL got 7 or 8 kills total in both games, while Roxkiss got over 50. So that tells you the big difference between these 2 teams in terms of aggression, execution. And I want to add something, but I don't want to say it myself, because that was something that Wepas actually saw while they were picking. You said something about the team, and especially about the Oddworld Devourer. Is it called like?
Yeah,
I
Outworld
like
Devourer.
calling it Outworld Destroyer, because that's what it used to be called, right?
Obsidian Destroyer.
Obsidian, sorry, yeah.
But it's like,
I just say OD now because I'm always confused. I'm
OD.
like,
We're not allowed to
Destroyer,
use that
name.
Obsidian, Devourer.
OD, IOD, OD. Anyways, you said something when they picked OD.
Yeah,